No, the good brothers there. One thing I hate are the brothers from New York that talk so much New York stuff
That's
because
a
they
lot of
love their
those.
team. And one of those good brothers we have on the line right now, the number one man, you know who he is, Q-Tip. What's going on, brother?
Nice segue, Detroit.
Oh, man.
What's good, bro? How you?
Oh, man, I'm good, man. And I'm so
How's
happy
everybody
to know
doing
that
up
you
there, man?
What's going on,
What up?
Q-Tip?
good, man.
What up,
Glad
Tip?
that Shanti got
Shanti.
you on.
Yes. So we talking about Linsanity, huh? And my New York Knicks, huh?
Let's be honest. You know basketball. You know, you are
Yeah.
an artist, and everybody know you from your Q-Tip days when you went solo recently, or more recently, and then we all know you from Tribe Called Quest, and you're
Yes.
doing your thing. So we're all big fans, and we know you know what it's like to work. We know that you put the work ethic in, and anybody that's watched the documentary or seen stories about you know how much of a hip hop head you are, how much you love your craft. Being that you work so hard and you put so much in your craft, do you see and are you happy for Jeremy Lin because you know how hard he had to work, and how maybe he wasn't expected to be this good right now? What's your thoughts on Jeremy Lin, the Knicks, Carmelo, Stat? What's your thoughts? Y'all gonna win a championship. What do you have to say?
Well, I mean, I don't want to get too far ahead, but I'm definitely excited for him, and just the fact that he came basically from obscurity, was about to get cut. You know what I'm saying? Like he was like
Right.
a few days from getting cut, and he's down at the end of the bench where if you down there, you pretty much are down there. And D'Antoni coach was a little bit desperate due to the obviously Barron not getting the production he wanted from Tony Douglas was really a two. And Mike probably, who we love Bibby, but, he may have been a little bit beyond his days, and he tweaked another injury, I believe. So he had no choice but to go down there and go to the bench and boy in, and he showed and proved, and he studied, he worked hard. Obviously, I think the Harvard thing has a lot to do with it because, basketball, I think what we see a lot, you see a lot of the young brothers come in, and athletics are off the charts. They got 40-inch verticals, and
Right.
they got they running 40s and 4.3 and all of this craziness, and they just athletic monsters. But then the maturity and the understanding of the game, to be able to know the X's and O's, and be able to look at the court and see what's happening. That takes some time to do, or it takes a very, studied person. And he obviously applied a lot of those, smarts that he had from Harvard to the game, and he got his shot.
Carmelo,
Do
you think Carmelo
went
could
for it.
handle that? You think Carmelo?
Yeah. I think Carmelo is a professional. You know what I'm saying? And when,
Right.
if I'm not mistaken, when he went to the conference finals that year, Chauncey was running the point. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
And Chauncey, he's kind of like, some people would like to argue and say he's a two, but I think he's a one. That he definitely is looking to dish the rock. If you got a better opportunity than him and he sees it, he's giving it to you. You know what I'm saying? And Carmelo played in that. So I don't think that Carmelo is selfish or any of that stuff, because if any of that was the case, we probably would have seen or had major stories of that. Now that he's been in the league, 8 years, we would have seen
Right.
some sort of inclination to that. So I think it's just a lot of people in New York are hungry, you know what I'm saying? And, people could be a little bit, like rabid sports fans, and they go
Speaking of
overboard
that-
and they start, making things up and trying dissension. But I know Carmelo is a consummate professional, all-star,
Definitely.
and he's going to be able to deal with it. It's going to be a great situation, I think.
Speaking of the fans there, Q-Tip, we all know that, New York has some of the smartest basketball fans and the loudest when they voice their opinion. Do you think Jeremy Lin saved D'Antoni's job?
Well, you haven't heard anybody talk about it, right? Just even, you know what I'm saying? Now, I think he did. I got to be honest, because I think that that's all D'Antoni was looking for, was like the right kind of point guard. And to me, his game kind of mirrors Steve's. You know what I mean? He kind of got a little bit of a game. Like, what do y'all think? Don't y'all think his game, if anybody, it mirrors is Steve's?
I definitely think it mirrors Steve.
Yeah.
And he's in that offense where if you can penetrate, like you said, see the floor, you know, you really can succeed in that. And I think one of the things that nobody's really saying, when you look at, you know, he hit a game winner on Valentine's Day and Jeffries came by and kissed him. And one of the guys hugged him. Like, it's something to be said about playing with guys that make you love coming to work every day.
Absolutely.
Right.
You know, guys are playing hard. Like, he gives Shump, all these guys credit. I hadn't heard of Shumpert out of anybody's mouth. You know, I knew him as a player, but until Lynn said it. You know, in all the interviews, like, give him credit for the big stop. So I think he's good for team, you know.
And you know, it's interesting. Hey, Tip, this is Shanti. I just love the fact that this guy is so humble. I mean, because he's gotten a lot of attention, and we were joking about this, Chris, earlier, how Sports Center just, you know, first it was the Tebow Center.
Right.
Now it's Lynn Center right now. But this guy has a lot getting thrown at him, and it probably does have something to do with the maturity and being able to go through that Harvard program, which is such a rigorous, you know, academic program, and being able to accept all of this. I mean, what do you think about his humility?
I think his humility is key. I think, you know, he's even keel. For him to be so young and to have that, and like I said, you know, that's the kind of guy you want to play with. That makes you happy to go out there and, you know, go for a loose ball and bust your butt. And, you know, that he's the kind of guy that you want to spread the floor. When you said spread the floor, don't set the pick. You know, you listen to him because you know that he's coming from a good place. And to have that kind of energy in a locker room, it's like, it's priceless. You know, you can't even put a price tag on that, and that comes from him having the humility. You know,
and he's certainly not a ball hogger. I mean, this guy had 13 assists. He's laying those shots up for everybody.
Yeah, he turned his turnovers down a little bit because that, you know, he seemed a little skittish even in some of those games where he would have like 5 turnovers and 6 turnovers. You know what I'm saying? He come down and dudes would be picking his pocket and stuff like that. But I think that he seems to be a quick study. Like, he's always, the one thing I noticed is he's always talking about film. Like, I remember I was watching, I forget whose broadcast it was of the game, maybe 2 games ago, and it was halftime, and the interviewer asked him, so what kind of adjustments? And he was like, I'm going to go look at the film. You know, you usually hear that from the coach,
right.
if anybody. But for him to say that, I thought that was interesting. I'm like, man, is this dude trying to? And this is still when it's kind of early on. I was like, man, is he trying too hard, or is this really him? And then you, as the games would develop, you would find out it was just really him. You know what I'm saying?
Man. Hey, brother, man, I thank you for calling in, Q-Tip. I want to ask you, brother, I know every time I come to New York, I hear you DJing the biggest party, and I know you're still doing your music and everything. What's going on, man? Tell us a little about you and where we can follow you and what's going on with you.
Oh, man, well, I mean, I'm working on my album now. That should be out next year. I'm doing a lot of production. I've been working with Kendrick Lamar, Marsha Ambrosius, D'Angelo.
Yeah, we were hoping, man, you know, that, you know, when we talk to you, we're going to ask where you producing and stuff, because we know, and first of all, coming out with your own stuff, which is great, but we were hoping you were producing, because there's been so many classics that you produce, and you're not on the low with it, but maybe, you know, you'll find out and be like, damn, we actually got to see D'Angelo in Paris, like, about 2 weeks ago.
Oh, you did?
We saw he ready.
Super dope.
You know, we saw that he's, you know, sounded good and ready to come back. So that's great to hear that you're working with, you know, with all those great artists, man.
Yeah, man. I you know, definitely looking forward to, like, putting some good music out there, and I've been working hard on that. And obviously, you know, everybody's upset about Whitney, you know what I mean? So I'm still kind of, like, taken aback by that. You know, that was a crazy loss. I had the opportunity to work with her maybe about 2, I want to say, like 15 years ago maybe. And we just had a great time. You know, I mean, in the studio, as soon as she opened her mouth, and you hear her voice live,